Hello, and thanks for joining us once again. I can see people logging up already, so it's nice to have your company this afternoon. So I'm here again on a Monday for some Monday Madness with me, Simon Williamson. Anybody that doesn't know me, I'm here every Monday for some inspiration with the Avago collections, some fun projects that are suitable for all ages. We're also on social networks as well, so if you haven't already, give us a like and subscribe, and then that way you'll be kept informed of any news or any exciting new developments with the Avago brand and other crafty brands that we're linked to. So well worth doing. So let's have a little look who's on then. So we've got Irene on, Donna, Sylvie, hello, thanks for joining us. Leslie, just seeing if it's going a bit fast now, so if there's any questions that you're asking. I can see someone's been tidying the craft room up. God help you. I started mine about a week ago and it's not progressed any further. But wherever you are anyway, so thanks for joining us, whether you're in the UK or further afield, it's nice to have your company. I do appreciate you tuning in for these shows. And even if you're watching on catch up, what I'd suggest is just put a little comment underneath the video afterwards. It just helps people to know what the show's about. And it also helps me to know if you've enjoyed the show and if I'm doing the right thing for you. So thank you very much for that. So just a few things before we get started. We've been nominated for a prize in the Best for Kids Awards. If you can share a vote for us, that'd be really appreciated. All the details are on my Facebook page, so you can go and check that out. And it's a good time for you to vote for the brands that you really like as well. That'd be perfect. And then just to let you know, I'm not going to be here for about a month because I've got my sister's wedding and then I've got an holiday and then Tony's got an holiday and we all need a little bit of break. So I will see you in about a month's time. So that's all the admin kind of stuff out of the way. So let's start with this first demo. So I've gone for a really nice blue and gold fish theme card this week, and I've tried to pull together multiple elements. We've got that stencil going off, some really nice bright gold stenciling, and then we've got the bubble, and then we're going to have a masking technique on this one just to show you how to pull it together. So let's get started with this one then. The first thing I'm going to do is bring out the stencil that we're going to be using. Can't get it picked up. So this is mine, a little bit well loved, but you can see it's a really nice big 6x6 stencil. And I've already got a piece of blue card put down to size that I know fits within that. So let me just line that up. I'm just going to tack that onto my sheet just so it doesn't slide around. If you've got any questions as well when we're going through, just put QQQ at the beginning and I can see them. Donna says, enjoy your holiday. Believe me, feels like it's been a long time coming. I thought about this before COVID. So I'm going to use this lovely Confetti Ink, and this is one from the Thirsty Brush range, and I think it's out of stock at the moment, but when it comes back in stock, grab it, because it's the best gold paint I've ever seen, I've got to say. Okay, so let's get a little bit of water. Just a tad in there. I've got a sponge, and I don't want this too wet, or it's going to bleed through these lines. So I'm just going to just dip a bit of that water in. Just trying to activate the top layer of this. It's like a creamy texture as well. Put a little bit more. Just picking that up. Let's see how this looks then. So I'm just going to go onto here. Oh, we've got somebody from the America as well. So welcome to Carol Rooney. This is your first time, so thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoy the show. And these are the lovely Avago products you may already have, or you may have something in your stash that's similar you can do these techniques with. So just going to push that through. That blue card. And because it's not a wet kind of ink that I'm using, paint, sorry, I can control that I'm going to get a nice crisp finish as well. I'm just pushing that through, breaking up that kind of area. You can always go back in as well, can't you, if you notice there's like a lighter patch. I love this little sponge as well. I've had it years. It really does the job. Put a slight bit more water. Taking that to the centre. Because this stencil kind of has an open area at the top, I want to close that in a little bit for our card design today. So I'm going to kind of take this kind of wave pattern up to the midsection. And I'm going to swing the card around then. So if I take this tape off just a second. Lift this up. And we can turn this around. And then I can put this back down now on the base. We can get this other side. And because it's not too wet, it shouldn't smudge like you would expect. So if I just stack it down there. And I'm just going to continue just along this edge. What we'll be up to then this week. I've seen that somebody's been tidying the craft room. I will be doing that. Nice weather though, isn't it? I've got to say. Nice to have a little bit of that summer sun coming through again. Puts me in the holiday mode. Just taking that to the mid. Set that corner. There we go. So when I pull this back now, you can see it's really broken up that piece of blue cardstock. I'll just move the stencil out of the way. And you can see it's got like a bit of a shimmer to it. It's lovely, you can see. So although it's a little bit broken in areas, I think it really kind of gives you a distressed look, that kind of pigment. I think it's a lovely colour to use. So let's get that now onto our card blank, so we're ready to assemble our card. And it'll give it time to actually set that as well. So I'll use a bit of tape runner to hold it onto the gold backing that I've got. Just pop that down so it's nicely centred. There we go. I've got a nice blue card to put this onto. This is just a square one. I think it's a 7x7. And then I've cut my mount at 6 1/4, and then mine is just 6x6. So you can work with the sizes that are best for you, can't you? I do like square cards though. Just pop that into its position. That's a lovely background now, which we're going to base our card design on. So let's move that to one side. With lots more people joined. We've got Emma Blake on. Hello, Emma. We've got Bridget, Linda, Maureen. I don't think I've missed anybody else out, but thank you. Thank you for joining us. It's really nice to see your comments. It's a lot better than talking to myself, isn't it? So I've cut some strips out for the next piece. Got some white strips of card. Now, I've just checked the measurement in case you want to do this at home. So they're 5.5 by 1.5. So I've got 3 strips of white, and then I've got a gold layer, just a little bit bigger so I can frame it afterwards. We're going to work with the white layers first. And we'll get these on our Eureka. Put a magnet on there. I'm going to use the fish stamps for this as well. So I've got some lovely fish stamps. I want to split up which direction they're coming from. So these are going to face inwards. And this one's going to face the opposite way. And then we'll have our friendly octopus at the top corner there. So it kind of breaks up these edges, you see. So I'm going to pick them up with the Eureka. And we're going to go in with a crisp VersaFine black. Make sure we get all that detail. Push that down. Make sure we get... brilliant. We've got all the little happy faces look within our strips now. So I'm just going to move them stamps out of the way so I don't make a mess. And then let's bring these out of here. In fact, I'm just going to take that one out a second. And then we'll put this one up here. You'll see in a second. So what I'm going to do now is create a mask for these. And I've already done these at home. But all it simply means is you cut out a paper mask of the same shape. And then that means we can protect this white layer underneath here. So let's get us masks into place. Just simply pop those over what we've stamped. Move the magnet a little bit. I've got our friendly little octopus that I've made a mask for. And once you've made your masks as well, you can save these and you keep them in the wallet with your stamps. They do come in useful. And then I've got one for the fish as well. So just move the backings there. You can use like a masking product, or you can use Post-it notes, whichever is best for you. I tend to make them out of a product, then I can save them longer. So popping that down to protect as white artwork. And then we're going to bring in the big bubble stamp now. So this is that really big one that's in the Bubble and Twine collection. You can see it's got lots of clusters of bubbles, little sizes. And we're going to use this to break up these areas. So now I've got my mask there protecting. We can go straight over the top, but that's absolutely fine. Let's pick this up. We'll use a black ink again. Give that a good push down. A stamp across those to break those up. I'm just going to leave those off the Eureka just a second. And move the little fish up. And we'll do the same again. So we'll get some VersaFine black on there. Stamp straight over that strip, over the fish because the mask is protecting it. Push that down. There we go. And we'll just bring that up a second. Just put that under there now. I'll bring a piece of scrap paper as well so you can see a little bit more of this. I've got my 3 strips now, all with the mask still in contact with the strip, so I'm leaving them on for a bit more protection. I'm going to bring in a blue ink now, and this one I'm using is one of the Eyes Ink Quick Dryer range, a pigment-based one. Doesn't actually have a name, but it's just a nice blue that matches this blue cardstock that we're using. And I'm going to use these. I'm just going to move that one up. I'm going to start with it the opposite way around so it's easier to tell. So I'm going to put my finger here. I'm just going to blend off our little character, just so we can darken that water around him. Trying to be a little bit gentle so you don't lift the actual mask that you've created. And then I'm just going to blend that towards the other end. It's a bit lighter. I can go back and if I want to a little bit darker. Just take that right to the edge. There we go. And then we'll swap to the octopus one. The same again. So blend off the mask to get that nice deep pigment. And then blend that out towards the other side. It's a little bit lighter as we go. A little bit more pigment this side. That's lovely. And then the last one, we're going to do the fish exactly the same way. Oh, think of all the animals you could do this with, or even flowers and do it in like floral tones. Push that dark blue down. Make sure I'm not going to rub that stencil up. And then pull that colour through that strip. Deepen that a little bit more at this end. And there we go. What we've created now is we've got our lovely characters. If I just move this piece of scrap paper out of the way so it doesn't deter from this. When I take this mask off now, you're going to see a really crisp image that's left underneath. It just protects it, you see, so you can get some really nice results. Then we'll get our little octopus friend out. And finally, our friendly shark. Just a really cool way of just getting your shading around there. I want to do to bring this card back in, I want to put some more gold back onto this. And unless I've left the white base, it's going to give us a nice kind of medium to paint on top of. But if it had been blue, it wouldn't have picked up this colour as well. So I'm just going to add more water to this paint now, so I do want it more of a paint consistency. And I'm just going to get some of that gold onto our friendly character. I'm going to do it quite pigmented in the darker areas and do a wash over the rest in a second. I'll pull that colour through. So pigmented, it's lovely, this paint, I tell you. And any light details like this area here that you don't want to lose, just don't put the paint over it. You can leave the black as an open area. It really don't matter. A little bit dark on this bit. I'm going to do the darker colour on the mole that I need, and then we can go back and put the lighter wash over. So we'll just get a little bit more water in there. To the octopus's head. Around his eyes. Push that around a little bit more. And he's got some light underneath his legs, which I want a little bit dark as well, just to give a little bit more kind of depth to his little character. Then we'll go on to our fish. Emma says, love the idea of it being a friendly shark. He's always friendly, Emma. I won't put your fingers near him now. And then we'll do these fins. Just that deeper pigment on select areas. I think we'll do, got to have big gold lips, haven't he? And eyelids. And I think I'm just going to put just some dots onto his back to break him up. And that's his lower fin. So I'm going to use the lid now, and I can actually just pull that pigment so it's more of a wash. And then I can go back in. Let's start with a sharp, because that'll be dry now. So we can just put just a paler and a colour in some areas just to break him up a little bit. You don't have to do the whole image, but it just adds a bit of definition. Takes that whiteness away, doesn't it, as well? Just round his... There we go. And then we'll do the fish last. So what Donna says, can't cuddle a shark though. I don't think you could hold it, it'd be that wet. Just pull that through. Just through his body, into his face. And there we go. So I'm just going to give them a quick blast with a heat gun just to make sure they're actually, they're not going to ruin or smudge. Nearly blown away, look. Or swimming away, one or the other. There you go. And I think what we're going to do now is get these mounted onto the gold backings that I've already pre-cut. So same as the background, it's just 1/4 of an inch bigger. Yes, they're 5.5, these are 5 3/4. We've got 3 of those ready. I'm just going to move that mask out of the way so I can see that shining. Let's put this over. Let's pop this down now, and that'll just really bring out that lovely goldfish that we've created. That's one. Who's going on this cruise then? We got anybody who's already booked on? One well, Joe, I tell you. So this last one onto the gold backing. Just try and just lift that off a little bit. There we go. We've got our 3 characters now, which we can get onto our card blank that we've created. And this will start bringing all them kind of gold mediums back together. So the way I've created this is that we can keep the sentiment going down the centre. So we just need to decide on what order we want the actual character. So I think we should go in that orientation, then we can get our actual text going down the centre when we've done it. So let's get some foam pads on this so we can raise it up a little bit. Let's get some big ones on to give it some good structure. Just get my pokey tool. Throwing it now, look, throwing it. So let's put that one down just there. And by just making these off-centre to your card, it alters the shape, but it gives you more of this kind of like lovely open area that you've created. It's a shame to cover it all up. Same with this one. Let's bring in kind of in line with this one that we've put on already. And then we'll bring in another foam pad for this last one. Don't think I've... I keep seeing like random things, and I've just seen Emma's put Slippy Shark, so... Get the backing off this last one. Let's get that into the centre of our card. So pulling that one out about the same distance. There we go. And now we need to create our sentiment to go in the middle of this one. So I'm just going to pop this to one side just for a second. And I've got some card here. I'm going to use that lovely sentiment that you get, catch you later. So I think I'm just going to use a stamping block for this rather than bring the Eureka back up. I'll borrow one of Tony's, but don't you tell her. Let me just... It flew off my block there. Let me just try again. Here we go. Let's just print that onto there. Nice bit of pressure. And we get nice sentiment there. Catch you later. I'm going to chop this up now a little bit to add a bit more interest. So let's get some... bit of a quirky shape going on. Let's separate them in the centre. Separate that U. Bring that down a little bit. And then we'll get that catch. So I'll take that catch one out. I love doing this because it means you don't have to be perfectly straight when you're cutting out your sentiments, which sometimes it's not one of those fortes, is it? So let's get that stuck onto blue. I'm doing well here. I've not got gold on the white yet. Yeah, it says. Put that onto there. I'm just going to trim around them again. So just giving a little bit of a blue border, and this is going to bring all the colours back in. I do like to make sure that the colours continue through your card. That's you. That's the catch. And then we'll do the later. And you could leave it just with the 2 layers, the blue onto your card, but I do think it makes a difference putting another gold layer behind that. So let's just quickly mount that onto some gold, and this is going to bring that gold back in as well. Oop. That's the catch. I thought that stamp disappeared. I didn't realise until I picked it up and it had flown across there. Nobody warned me. That's the kind of thing that would happen to me on telly, I tell you. I'm just going to chop round this one. Give it a nice chunky gold border like we've done with all the other layers that we've made. And then just last this one. Move them straps the card away. And I think we'll put some more foam pads under these to give them a bit more height so it's a real feature. So we've got catcher first. And I've catch up here. Got later for the bottom one. And then we've got that U for the middle, which I think will just be big enough this pad. As honest as I need to practice my random cutting, it looks really effective. Do you know, it's just a quick way into it. And we've all got to find his own little quirky ways of doing stuff, but I do like it. I think Emma Blake does a lot of it as well. I think that's probably where I've started seeing it a bit more. But I'm sure Emma Blake edges her words and breaks them up a little bit more. So, and put you in the centre. So I'll smooth them to one side. I think it just really shows off that beautiful stencil in the background without covering it up completely. It's a little bit of a different card into as well with them fish on there. And it just shows you, like, just using one pigment colour of that gold, how you can make it go throughout the whole card and pull together. So hopefully you've enjoyed that first demo and it gives you some inspiration on something you could do, which you could easily change the colours in that. Maybe do the mask and its floral elements and do a pink card and roll out your floral tones. I'm sure you could have a really good play with that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you some inspiration from the Avago products, and I'll join you back in a couple of minutes for the next demo. So I'll see you in a second. Hi, my name's Simon Williamson. I'm the guest demonstrator for Avago Ink Designs. Avago Inks it's basically images that we can put together so anybody can have a go. I think I love the most about crafting is it can just give you time out in your own head. You can just down tools, not think about your mobile phone and just enjoy what you're going to do, create a project and be proud of what you've made. My inspiration comes really from lots of sources. I love looking at current trends, I like looking through the internet, I like looking at what other people make, and I think truly inspiration comes from picking bits out of everything you see, pull it all together and make it something that you can do with your skills. Avago products, we've got 3 collections out at the moment. We've got as Dinosaur range, as Farmyard range, and as Little Owl collection. And the main crux of the actual designs is there's a big image there, little characters you can play around, have fun, and there's always some puns in there as well, so you can liven up the card and make it a bit humorous for everybody. I think if you're thinking about trying one of our products, don't be afraid. Just buy any of the kits that you feel like you want to, and you'll always create a really good card from there. There's some good characters, good sentiments, and some really fun images in there. So just grab one and have a go. Welcome back. So I can see that a lot of people like that card. I'm glad, but I do try and find something different for you all, and I can appreciate your comments. I can see we've got some more people joining as well. So welcome to Cal and Marion. They're on the Facebook page as well. So thanks for joining us. Really appreciate you being on here. Hopefully you've caught the back end of the first demo, but if not, we're going into a second one anyway, so you can watch this one. So this is going to be bringing back the elephant collection, and you're looking at a fantastic, massive background stamp, which is a firework. And I just think it's a bit understated, this massive stamp. So I wanted to show you how effective it is. You can use it and look at the detail in that. And now that we're going to emboss all them different colours, I'm going to show you a technique to do that easily. So let's start with this one. I'm going to bring up the stamping platform first. And when I say a big stamp, it's massive, look. It's a massive stamp. So I've already cut a piece of blue card, the correct width that I need. I've left myself a tatty edge to hold it so I can emboss later. So let's just use that as the marker. Then we can position the stamp where we want it. It should just go off the edge nicely. There we go. Massive. Think of all the things you could do with this. Lovely celebration stamp. His wedding anniversary maybe, some wedding glasses, champagne, all those kind of things would look brilliant on this. Okay, so I'm just going to bring in my embossing pad. Going to give that a good rub down. So I want to make sure that we get the detail and it doesn't stick to the blue card anywhere. So let's make sure we give that a good rub. And then I've got some embossing ink. So I'll give that a good push down. Get all that detail. Putting a bit of pressure on this because my pad's a little bit dry, so I want to make sure I get a good image. And then I'll pop that down. And the beauty, if you put the anti-static bag on first, is usually you can see the design because you'll see it glisten when you lift this up. And you can see if you missed any areas. Give that a good push. Have a look. Oh, you can see that. I think you can pick that up on camera really well. So let's move this magnet out of the way. Move the big stamp out of the way as we've done with that. Get some scrap paper. I want to use some of these like lovely colours, and these are from the Thirsty Brush range. You may have got these previously, but there's some lovely shades here. So we've got like blues and greens, cobble orange and like a bright pink. And I just think that all these are going to look lovely for them fireworks coming together. So all I'm going to do is randomly scatter a few areas. So if I'm looking at this, I'm just going to put a little bit of green up here, a bit down there maybe, a little bit over there. I'm going to tip that off now. And you can see it's just catching certain areas. So I'll move that to one side and I can get that in a second. Just so I don't dry up basically. Got this lovely hot pink now. So let's have some of that down the centre. I'll just give that a tip. And then I think we'll just need one more colour. So we'll go in with the blue, I think. And let's just push that into all the areas that we may have missed little bits. By doing it this way as well, you're not going to contaminate. Is the embossing ink more sticky than Versamark? I think I've had both in fairness, but just where I shop, this tends to be the one that I actually use, this embossed one. You can also get this one in like, I don't think I've got it today. You can get it in like a pinky one as well, so it leaves a residual tint, so you can see where you're stamping. So especially if you're on white cardstock, the pinky one's really good. But I tend to like this one, so I can't say that it's better or worse, because I think they're all different. But it's kind of my go-to one that I go to, so there we go. So we've got all our areas there, so I'm just going to move that there. I'm going to bring up the heat gun now so we can activate this. Just before I do that, I'll just put the top on this glitter to see what's going to happen. There we go. We're ready now. We're ready. It's got a bit of a glitter in this embossing as well, so it'll give a nice twinkle when it's all heat set. So just getting that all to change. And spend the time doing this, but you don't want to not do it enough and then it'll just brush off, you see. And the turquoise goes a little bit lighter, which is nice because it gives me an indication I'm doing it enough. Move to the lower part now. It's such a nice stamp though, isn't it? Just down to this bottom bit. I'll just quick look at that. Just miss a few areas here, I can see. There we go. So you can see if I hold it up now, look how sparkly that is with all them glitters, the embossing powders on there. And this is a good way of using all them scraps up that you've got. So you can see all that shine and shimmer. And it looks like proper fireworks, doesn't it? So don't think you've got to do it all in one colour. Pull out the little bits that you've got left and throw them on there and see what interesting kind of makes you can get from it. I'm going to bring up the trimmer now. I just need to trim this little bit. I'm just going to just measure this one so I know how big to trim it. So I forgot, if I'm honest. It's just a little bit under 7, so. Let's trim off the bit that we're not going to use. So, 6 3/4, I think it was. If not, we'll be trimming the other card down. Moment of truth. Perfect, exactly where we wanted it. So I'm going to choose a red glittery background as well, and that's going to pull back in with the sentiment in a second. I'm just going to leave a little bit of a white border on the outer edge as well, because that's going to really help bring the image together as well. So I'm going to get this glued down so it's got time to adhere. With it being glitter as well, I just want to put some wet glue on this one. Find it grabs a little bit better. I'll just put just a little bit of tape runner, just in a few areas, just to tack that. Get that onto the red glitter. Make sure it's nice and bordered all the way around. Just give some of that pressure on there. The Maureen says, beautiful Simon. Oh, thank you. No, says, beautiful Simon, I need to experiment more with the embossing powders. It does, and you know, sometimes when they're all mixed up, you get some really cool effects when you've got all those different colours going off. And you know me, I don't have to be subtle, so clash, make the colours clash. Go for your blues, yellows, greens, your reds. Don't think you've got to have all like gold tones and things like that. You'll get a lot better effect when you can really go to town with it. And we'll get this onto our card blank. I'll pop this down into position. Brilliant. So I'm just going to put that to one side now so that glue can take hold. I can feel it trying to lift now. Just pop that to that side. I'm going to work on now the hill and the actual elephant. So I've got a scrap of green first of all. And this is the same width as the card that we've been making. So you can see I've already cut it to the exact same kind of width that we need. All I want to do is cut a hill shape out of this. Doesn't have to be accurate, it's just a hill shape for you. So I'm just going to go around there and take it back around the other side. And that's going to be my hill there. Not bothered about it being too perfect. Just we're going to have fun with this. And because the fireworks are above, it's going to be a little bit lighter on the top and darker at the base. So I'm just going to take the edge off this now using some eyes ink. This is the emerald green. This is the dye ink pad, this one I've used, but it's just because it was a good colour tone to use on top of this card. And I'm just going to darken the base of this, almost like it's shadowed. And from the other side. Towards that middle section. And I'm going to curve it around so you can see it's almost like a lighter area created here. And then just soften that a little bit out. Make a little bit more like darker down at the bottom. I just want it to be like the fireworks, so almost lighten our little elephant up. There we go. That's our hill created, so we're going to put that just up there a second. And then we need to get our lovely elephant now. So we'll bring up the stamping platform for this, just because it's a bit of a textured cardstock. I want the opportunity to be able to go back in if I need to, just to make sure that it's a nice crisp image. Got a scrap of grey there. I'm going to use the lovely elephant with the umbrella, which is a lovely big stamp as well, so you can put this onto any card. You can also, because it's versatile, you can chop off its umbrella and have him holding a sign maybe, happy birthday sign, whatever you prefer. So let's pop that on there. Pick that up. I'm going to do it in VersaFine black as well. So I'll give that a good good push down. Like I say, it is very textured, this. I just want to make sure we get all that detail. Yeah, so you can see just where like dicky bow is and that. I'm just going to go in one more time just to give a bit more layer to the black, make it pop a bit more. Push that down. That's better. Put the hat away. I'm now going to actually use some scissors to fussy cut around this. You could use the die that's included, but I don't want a border going around this. I want actually it as close as possible. So any bits that you're not very good at cutting, you can get rid of, which is what I'm going to do in a second. I'll show you. So around its little legs. If you turn the card as well, rather than turning your scissors, it's a little bit easier. And if you get any fiddly bits, you can always chop the card off so it's even better for you. So around its little chest. Up to his trunk. And I'm going to cut this umbrella out, even though I'm replacing it, just because I think it gives like a shadow, as if like you're looking inside. I think that's quite cool, so that's why I'm going to include it. So I'm going to cut all this around here. I'm going to go down its body and then go back to that little area that it could break, so it's a more delicate area. And around its tail. And any bits that, you know what I mean, if you can't just navigate around, just chop them a little bit off. There's only you that knows what the original image was. And you'll still know it's an elephant, even if it's lost its tail, if I'm honest. Right, so on these bits here, let's go around the umbrella. Just going to leave a little bit more thickness around the stem of the umbrella so we don't lose it. I don't want the hook because that's too fiddly to cut. Let's move around that. Just turn it back round. And then I don't think we need his hair either, so let's get rid of his hair. Give him a bit of a trim ready for summer look. Down that, yeah. And there we go, we've got our little elephant cut out. It just gives it like a little bit more detail, so you haven't got that kind of floating edge appearing. Right, so let's get our hill first of all put down. So I want to give some foam pads on this one just to give a bit more height. I'm loving my foam pads today, aren't I? Put the pokey tool on this. Make sure it's open the right way. Let's put the hill right at the bottom. Now put it on the foam pads, it makes it look like you're looking over the hill into the fireworks. And I want to raise this elephant up now, so let's get some foam pads on him. Just going to use my scissors a second. I want him higher than, more further forward than the hill, so I'm going to put double foam pads onto this little character. We'll take the first layer off. And this is going to give us even more depth on our card when we're assembling it. Get those other backing off. Put that on top of there. And then we'll do the same on top of the umbrella. I'm going to chop that little bit off, it's a little bit longer than expected. And then we'll take these backings off now. I do like to assemble cards as I go, I've got to say, and then you know whether you need to adapt something before you put it down. So let's get him stood on the hill. And his little umbrella protecting him from the fireworks going off. You can see we've already got some nice dimension. Now, because the umbrella's quite flat to him, I want to raise that up a little bit more. So ahead of time, I've already heat embossed the umbrella on some glitter card, just so I don't think it wants to see me heat emboss again. I'm going to chop this out, so we've just got the umbrella canopy now. So really easy. And this is going to bring that red border back in that's on the base mount this card. So you've got that red coming back in again. And then chop down the top of this. Straight across. There we go. And then I'm going to just play around with this just to break the fibres a little bit. So I want it to curl a little bit. So really use your fingers. If you've got like a ball till, you could do this on a mat. But I want this to kind of look like it's a raised umbrella. So I'm just teasing it out a little bit, making it rounder. That's brilliant. You can see you've got a nice arch to that. I'm going to put a little foam pad into the middle of it. Just a really tiny one, look. Just so it stops it from sinking back down. Let's take that backing off. And I'm just going to run a little bit of glue around the edge as well, just so that it's just going to catch that bit and hold it secure as well. You'll see when we put this on now on top of the grey one, we really got a bit more dimension. And you can, I don't think you can see on the camera, but it's got like a bit of depth now from the actual layer of the actual umbrella and the base. So when you look at it, it's like a shadow underneath the grey one. So all we need now to do is add a sentiment to this one. So I think I'm going to go for the Make-A-Wish one. I'll just get a scrap of card. And I've got the sentiment just here. And this is the one that comes with the elephant in this collection. I'm going to go for a nice black crisp sentiment again. Let's get that. Make-A-Wish. Let's chop that down like we did with the other one. Well, I've gone all messy, look. Let me just move them bits out. I still need to move them in a minute. Just going to chop this down. Let's make this one go this way. And I'm going to move this onto the blue now. And that's going to make a sentiment pop a little bit more. And use glue, because it's a little bit bigger than the other ones. Just hold that a second to grab. Morris is a very cute card. Oh, thank you. Well, I know a lot of you got these stamps. I thought I'd just continue to give you some more inspiration to use them. But even if not, I'm sure you've got things in your stash that you can have a play around with. And I'm going to move this onto some glitter. That'll pull us red back in as well, give us a little bit more balance. Hold that down. Can snip round this again there. I do like to make sure that the colours are throughout the card. And I'm just going to get a small foam pad, just so it can give some more height to this card as well. Look at him, he's so cute on his little hill, thinking that his umbrella is going to protect him. Might have never seen fireworks before. And then just pull that back in off. And then where should we have it? In the centre? I think we're going to have it just a little bit off centre here. And there we go. And just look at that background, it's fantastic, isn't it? I know I've done these demos before, like on white colours, but I just wanted to show you how well they work on coloured cardstock as well. I think it's a fantastic little card, that. So I hope you've enjoyed those demos for today. Bring in that other one that we did as well, look. That's the two that we've done today. So thanks very much for joining us. Don't forget that I'm not going to be here for a couple of weeks now. Probably about a month, because I've got my sister's wedding and I've got my holidays, and Tony and Tim's having a break as well, which I think we all deserve, don't we? So we can't really begrudge anybody some time off. But I'll drop a note on our Facebook page, on the Have a Go Facebook page, as soon as I've got my next studio, then you'll not miss it. So have a lovely summer. And don't forget to vote for Have a Go Ink on the category awards as well. But thank you very much for joining us today. And if you've got any messages or questions, just drop me a message. I will reply to you. But other than that, I will see you soon. Have a lovely summer and we'll see you soon. See you later. Bye-bye.